Hey guys, this is National Master Kevin Yang back at it with another video. So we'll be, just in this position we talked about before that I had multiple plans. One, just using this diagonal to say, okay, maybe I'm going to threaten checkmate, but the other plan was whoop this knight over and just try to look for a good attack. So obviously I'm not going on the defensive with this. I'm not really scared about any checkmate ideas because the queen is there. So I'm going to leave it on this diagonal, or at least just protect the g7 and f6 squares. So here I play knight c6, and immediately, I'm not sure what to do. I could have multiple things to do. I could play queen d3, for example. I could play queen to e7, for example. Just saying knight d7, rook g8, going for a rook trade. So I decide to go with knight c6. Going with this plan, I think it's the most devastating, but after a3, queen e7 happens. So I'm sticking to my plan of saying I'm going to protect this diagonal. So after rook c1, good move, I decide to play bishop to b5, and I say I don't want to hook my queen to the defense of this knight. So after f3, which is a very interesting move, I play the move rook to g8. And I feel like this is really good timed because after rook takes g8, rook takes g8, well, there's threats of rook g1, and it wouldn't look so great on white if that actually happened. So king f2 happens, and now I start to wonder, how can I use both how can I use both of these diagonals to try to work something out? And here I decide, I could, if rook takes g1, rook takes g1, then what? Do I play rook d8 and go for d2? Could be an option. Do I leave this open and I go for queen d7? And that's what I went for. I wanted to attack the knight. So then Runinja moved it back to d1, and here I said, let's go in. Let's play queen d3. And in fact, this is a blunder. This is a blunder. Why? You're like, why? Why is this a blunder? Well, knight c4. And to be honest, I forgot about it. I'm going to be honest. I did forget about it. The only moves I was considering was knight takes e4. That was what I was considering. I was considering f takes e4. And I was considering just winning here. I thought I was completely winning, but then I realized knight c4, all of a sudden just disrupting this bishop and queen battery. And all of a sudden, if bishop takes c4, rook takes c3, and after bishop takes d3, then there's rook takes c6, I think. Right? So after bishop takes d3, rook takes c6. Ooh, but there's e takes f3. It gets all spicy because there's bishop e4 and rook g2. I don't know. It's hard to evaluate this position. Apparently, the move is queen h4, going with queen f6. So, for example, if knight a5 happens, there's queen f6, and there's rook takes on c7, creating tons of pressure in the black camp. So instead, rook g6 has to happen, rook takes, and no, not rook c5, rook takes, rook a g8, and apparently this is a draw. This is a draw somehow, I don't know. But okay. Instead, what happens is Runinja does not find knight c4, which I completely blundered. So after knight c4, if I play queen b3, what happens? Rook to d7, just looking like that. He's looking all desperate now, and the king's like, hey, where's my guard? Where's my guard? Right? You were strong, you were brave. What'd you do? Right? You wreaked havoc, and all you did was stir some trouble. Right? So essentially, the Black King would not be happy in that case. But f takes e4 happened, and this all followed according to my plan because I did not see knight c4 in the first place. So here was my plan. My plan was simple as that. I wanted to deliver checkmate, right? So the rook covers this. I wanted to box him in. So after f takes e4, I play the very decisive move, rook to g4, saying I'm going to cut off your connection, and if you play rook e1, I'm going to threaten d2. So queen takes g4 happened, and after king g3, you'll notice I play, well here I played bishop d3, but queen f2 and queen takes h2 is a good way to do things as well. So I decided rook takes g3, and I decided to do it anyway. So this is checkmate. So what can we learn from this game? Well, we can learn that, first of all, do not play c5. Now, I say that in a very harsh tone, but this is, to me, this is a positional concession. So what do I mean by that? I mean that you're giving up, this light square. And these pawns here, like, although they're a rock, they should be challenged, right? So I know that this restricts bishop to d6, but after b6, you'll notice that after b4, a5, it's hard to maintain this queenside wall. And so here you'll see that black's pieces have a line to develop, they have a half-open file to work with, and especially with the help of this g5 and trapping the piece, being able to work with this diagonal and being able to create these threats just allowed me to win. And queen d3 was a mistake. I should have played, what should I have played? I could have played queen g7 for a fact. After queen g7, rook g1, queen d7. Yeah, that doesn't achieve much. So what should I have played? Well, in fact, I could have played bishop to e2. Wow, that is deep. King takes e2, rook g2, king f1, and rook a to g8. That is deep, but apparently I could have played that. So that is that game. So let's go on to the next game against Runinja. So here I am black, right? The last game I was also black. So let's get into it. d4, g6. And so this time around I set up very differently. I'm not what we saw the Dutch kind. Right? In this, I set up a fianchettoed modern King's Indianish defense. Except here I develop all the bishops. So in this system, my goal is to play e5. Just simple as that. But here I develop a very, very different move order. I sneakily insert the move queen b6. And at this point, white should castle. Right? So you earlier saw that Runinja played the move e3 and then played the move e4. Now, this comes to say that maybe if you play a pawn to one square and then you move that same pawn, it's what we call time wasted. And, I've mentioned in some of my videos that time is like momentum in the game. Time is a valuable resource for getting ahead in development, in the position in general. It's like building an army, right? Sometimes your army needs time to get their ammunition, reload everything, right? So it takes time to do that. So at the same time, in chess, you need time to build up your position. And if you spend 2 moves making the move you could have made in 1 move, well then that just it shows that you might have not taken time to consider like you moved it here, you're gonna commit to it here. But the thing is that with this e4 move, right? So after e4, now I play the move queen b6. And why is that significant, right? You might be like, what? What is he doing? Why is he bringing out the queen so early? And the reason is because I'm threatening bishop takes, then queen takes d4. But my other threat is to take on b2 and say, hello there, knight. So those are my threats. So after bishop e3, I play the move queen takes b2. I'm just saying, where does this knight go now? So after knight a4, now let me just tell you, there is a trap. The knight is going to be trapped. How is it going to be trapped? Well, it's going to be at the expense of a bishop. So queen a3, c4, and what is the move here? This is going to be like a puzzle-like find. Come on, you can do this. Queen, it's not queen, b5. So you might be like, what? Take, take, take. Then what? Then there is queen to b4 check. So let's play it out. Bam, bam. Right, so we're still threatening the knight. Bishop takes, and now Chakaruski. And all of a sudden you're like, what? What? No, 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 no. Queen d2, queen takes b5, knight c3, and now I put my queen on a6 because I'm preventing castling, and that's an important thing to do as an opposing player, right? Sometimes you might get the chance to stop your opponent from castling. Do it. But don't do it at the expense that you're going to lose all your pieces for, because you don't want to donate all your Hail Mary just to stop castling. If you can stop castling without too big of a price, then put it down. Have fun with it. So after knight d5, Runinja sets up a very interesting dynamic, and that's where I will leave you with this video, because I play the move rook c8, but then Runinja plays the move rook c1, and all of a sudden there is this threat of knight c7. So stay tuned on the next video to see how I explain my thinking in this position and how I dig myself out of this potential mess. So thank you, and I will see you next time.